Hello everyone. So in this video, I will show you that how you can work with filters or a search kind of functionality where you can filter the rows of a data table in Power Apps. So in this particular video, I'm going to show you that how you can filter rows in a given collection, and that collection we are referring here as a data table. So first of all, what we are going to do today in this video is that I am going to show you that how you can create a collection, which I also showed you in my previous video. So do watch my previous video as well. And then we will see that how you can enable filter for different columns, for example, item or region or multiple columns. So you can add a text filter, then we will add a drop down filter, and then we will see that how you can also use a combo box as a filter or to filter the rows of a data table in Power Apps. So let's see this in action. So I am in my Power Apps environment. This is the Power Apps environment, the same environment which we are using from the last videos or this Power Apps crash course series. So what I'm going to do now, first of all, I would like to create a collection. Although we created one collection in the last video as well. So if you go to these three dots here, you will see one option called collection. And this is the collection users info, which we created in our last video. So now for this particular video or demo, I would like to create one more collection. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, this is the intro screen. You already know when this app runs and someone clicks here, it gets navigated to welcome to Power Apps crash course, which is the welcome screen. So previous one was my intro screen and this is the welcome screen. Okay. So on the welcome screen, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to add a button. I'm going to add a button. Okay. So let's add from here button. Okay. All right. So I have added a button, and let's change the ID of this button or name of this button btn underscore load test data. All right. And let's also change the text. So load test data for filters. All right. So what I'm going to do is, I have created a button, and we already know that on select property of this button, we can load some data. So using the on select property of this button, we are going to create our collection. And I have already created one collection, which is the test data. You can see this is a JSON like structure through which you can create your collection in Power Apps, and the different properties of the JSON collection are order, data, region, rep, item, units. These are the various fields which will get displayed. So what we are going to do is, let me copy this, and on select I can just paste here. Okay, if you want to see this, you can anytime expand it, and you can see that it has been created. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to run this app, and when I will click on this button, okay, in the welcome screen, when I will click this button on the welcome screen, the collection will get created, and it should be visible in the list of all collection. So let's see this in action. I am in the intro screen. Let's navigate to the welcome screen and load test data for filter. When we have clicked, since we have clicked on this button, the collection must have been created now. Okay, so let's go to these three dots and see the collections. Great, test data. So now you can see here, earlier there was only one collection which was user info. Now our collection with the same name test data has been created with all the values. So till here, so far so good. Till here we have seen that how we can create a collection in Power Apps. Okay. Now what we are going to do is, we are going to create another screen. Okay. Just like I am doing in every video, we will create a new screen for the filter demo. So let's click on new, a blank screen I am going to create, and I'm going to rename this screen src underscore filter. All right. So the screen is there where we can show you the today's demo that how you can use filters in Power Apps. So what we can do is let's add a data table. Okay. I'm going to add a data table here first of all. So you can see when you add a data table, it asks for a data source. And since you have already created a collection for the demo of this video, I can use that collection as the data source of this particular data table. So let's select this test data and let's drag this data table a little below and expand it. All right, and you must be wondering now that since we have added the collection as the data source, why it is not showing. It's very simple, because you have to edit the fields, that what fields needs to be visible in this data table. Okay, so I am using item, order date, region, let's say total, units, unit price, add. So what will happen that once I have selected the fields of the source, you can see now the values are visible, or the rows are visible in my data table. Let's expand it more. All right. Now what I'm going to do is, please remember that you are in the filter screen. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a rectangle, and why I'm using this rectangle, so that I can uh, use this rectangle to have the other controls in it, which can work as filters. So let's expand it. And please remember, rectangle is not a container control, right? Okay, great. Now I'm going to add, okay, I'm in the screen filter. I'm going to add the text input. Great. So I have a text input and I'm going to rename it txt underscore item filter. All right. So what I'm going to do is that I have different items in my data source or data table. I'm going to apply a filter. All right. So whenever someone will enter something in this text box, my data table should get filtered based on that criteria or search keyword, right? So please remember, you select the data table, and in the items it's already showing test data. All right, so let's apply the filter for this text box so that our data table gets filtered. Okay, so let me select the data table. As of now, the data table is showing the collection data. The collection name is test data. So let's apply a filter. So I'm writing here filter. What I want to filter, my collection, filter on my collection. And what I want to filter, that whenever someone writes some text or the search keyword in this text box, the data gets filtered in this data table. All right. So what I'm going to write is txt item filter dot text. Okay, text property in where we are searching this item, this record dot item. Okay, so what I have done is that whenever someone will start writing in this text box, the data will start filtering in the data table below. So let's see this in action. So you see here, if I write pen, all the items starting with pen is appearing in my search result, or the filtered results, I will say, right? So if I write the complete one, pencil, it is only showing me pencil. If I just write bin, it is showing all the items starting with bin. So it's kind of a substring we are searching in the whole set of strings in our collection. All right. So I hope you have understood that how we can apply the filters in Power Apps by using this example. Now to extend this example, what we are going to do is I'm going to add a drop down now. So let's add a drop down more. So let's add a drop down. Okay. So I have added a drop down here. And now let's run this in one time. As you can see, in the collection, I have three regions. In the collection or in this data table, I can see the regions are central, east, and west. Okay. So for this drop down, let's rename it dd underscore region filter. Okay. So this is the drop down which I have added. Now what I'm going to do is I want to filter the data. I want to filter the data based on the drop down value selection also. Okay. So first add the values for this drop down. We can add a simple array because we know what are the values which are there in our region is east and then west and then central. So these are the values which will appear in the drop down. Let's run it. As of now, you see it is not filtering the data based on the region, correct? So let's apply the filtering in the collection or the data table based on this drop down as well. So what I'm going to do is let me remove this now. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to filter the data based on the drop down value. Okay. So what I'm going to write is this record, right, dot region. I want to apply the filter on the region column is equal to what we want to do, the drop down value. So what is our drop down? dd underscore region filter dot selected text, right, dot value. So what I want to do is that whenever someone will select any value in the drop down, the data should get filtered based on the selection of the drop down option or drop down value. So let's see this in action. As of now, the east is selected. You see the data is getting filtered based on the region east region. Now if I select west, now you see it is getting filtered on the west. And if I select central, it is also getting filtered on the central. As of now, this text box filter is not working. All right, only this drop down filter is working. East, it is filtering on the west based on this region value, region column value, or is it central, right? So now what I want to do is I want the filter to work both for the text box and the drop down which I've added. Again, it's very simple, and I know you guessed it right. What we have to do, we have to combine both the conditions in the filter. That's it. So let's go to the data table. Now you see, as of now, it is only showing the condition for the drop down. So what you can do is that you can apply, and let's take it, always take it in bracket. It's always a good practice. And you can apply an ampersand and condition. Always use ampersand, ampersand. Don't use a single ampersand. And the same condition that txt item filter dot text, right, dot text in where you want to see it, this record dot item, right? And if you don't want to, do not able to see the complete condition, you can do the format text. Okay, so this record dot region is this, and let's close this in brackets as well. So this condition also comes in some bracket. All right. Now what we are doing is I am applying a filter on my collection. Okay. And I have added both the conditions. Both the condition means for the text box and for the drop down as well. Okay. So let's see this in action. Now you see here, it is working for this text box and showing for the drop down value also. So if I write here set, now it shows pen set in the central, and if I filter on west, there are no data, and east, there is pen set in the east region. So it is filtering both on item and region columns, and both the filters are working, which means text box and drop down. All right. So till here, I am going to repeat what we have seen in this video. So till here, we have seen that how you can apply the text filter, how you can apply a filter on a given collection, and at the same time, how you can use a drop down as well. Okay. Now I want to take this a little bit forward because as per the PPT, we have seen that now we have added the text filter, we have added a drop down filter. Now I want to do is replace the drop down filter with a combo box filter. So let's see this in action now. So what I'm going to do is we have added a drop down, right? DD underscore region filter. Let's remove it. I have removed the drop down. Now what will happen? This data table will mind it, and let's say we remove this condition, which is this record dot region dd underscore region filter dot selected value. This will not work because the drop down will not be found by power apps because we have removed it. All right. Now what I'm going to do is let's add a combo box. Let's add a combo box. Okay. So I've added a combo box here, and similarly, as it accepts the array of a string, we can give the values of the combo box as an array of a string. So similarly, for the region east, west, and central. All right. So now my combo box has some values. Let's see this in action. So combo box, I can select east, I can select west, and so on. Right. Now this data table is not happy. So let's make this data table as happy. And let me rename this combo box cc underscore region filter. Okay. So cc underscore region filter is my combo box. And now let's come to the data table. Let's apply the filter condition. So what we are saying is that apply the filter this record dot region is equal to dd region filter dot selected text dot value. Okay. Ampersand, and this is the condition for the text box. Now what I'm going to apply the condition for the combo box. So we can remove this condition now. We can remove this condition and we have to apply the condition for the combo box, right? Okay, so what we have applied the filter for this combo box and the text value by using the ampersand. So what we are saying is, let me expand this. So filter on a collection and this record dot region and cc region filter dot selected items. This is for the combo box and this is for the text box, which is there as our filters. So let's see this in action now. So what I'm going to do is, let's say if I write pen and if I select two regions, east and west, you see it is showing me the data for both the regions, east and west. And if I select central as well, it will show me all the items starting with PEN in these three regions. If I remove east, you see it will only show west and central. And if I select here BIN, so binder in west and central region. So that's how we can apply the filter on a given collection in Power Apps. That's all for this video. Thank you.